What's going on, everybody? First time doing the Eagles video, but as you can clearly see, you know, I'm with my boys. As it stands, the Eagles are currently 0-2. They play the Bengals later on today. I wanted to make this video because I've seen a lot of stuff. I follow various accounts from other Eagles reporters. So I wanted to kind of throw my hat in the consideration bin for being one of these reporters on the Eagles. Um, we've all seen the nonsense that's been produced out there on the football field from the Eagles these past 2 weeks. Um, there seems to have been a lot of unease even since the even since the draft. I would say. I feel like a lot of people have had their reservations about the Eagles, from the draft to the, lack thereof of a training camp, if it could even be considered that, to a lot of front office decisions that have been made by the Eagles. So, this is my first video. So, I wanted to put this out there for everybody. Um, as I said before, the Eagles play the Bengals today at 1. Now, if you look at the past 2 weeks, there's been a lot of rumblings. Um, Carson Wentz, the offense, the defense, the same stuff that we as Eagles fans have had to deal with for years upon years. Um, I'll give you my take on a lot of this. As it stands, looking at the state of the Philadelphia Eagles, I've seen reports of people saying that lack of a training camp has led to this and has led to that. The the issues for the Eagles are a myriad of issues, streaming from Carson Wentz's bad decision making to the offensive play calling or lack of creativity on the offensive side of the ball, and Jim Schwartz's inconsistency on defense, as well as the number one plague for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm pretty sure we all know what this is: injuries. Now, I don't understand how, in God's name, this team could have an entire offseason and somehow still manage to come through with injuries. And when I say that, I'm talking more so about the whole Brandon Brooks situation. I don't get it. Boggles my mind. So for the past couple weeks, I'm pretty sure we've all seen it. From Undisputed to Sports Center, NFL Network. Even the Philadelphia Inquirer. We've all seen this. Now, I know going back into the draft, a lot of people had their reservations about Jalen Hurts being drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me say this. I've seen Jalen Hurts play since he was a freshman at Alabama. I've seen people run Jalen Hurts into the dirt. I ain't seen the brother throw a pass in the NFL at all. But all of a sudden have an opinion about Jalen Hurts. Now, I've seen Carson Wentz play 5 years in the NFL. And in those 5 years, Carson Wentz has not won a playoff game at all. Now, that's not sitting there saying that Carson Wentz is a bad quarterback. I'm not going to say that at all. And I'm not even saying I want to see Carson Wentz fail. Because I feel as if, though, Carson Wentz, while it could be too early to tell, you still want to give somebody some time. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it all plays out. But I'm against the grain because I'm one of the Philadelphia Eagles fans who understands that even if Carson Wentz goes down, I got Jalen Hurts. Let me tell you something about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a guy who is an SEC champion, a national champion, as a matter of fact, two-time SEC champion, one-time national BCS national champion. I'm sorry, you say BCS national champion, but college football national champion. Um, a Heisman finalist. Was he Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year? Let me explain this to you about Jalen Hurts. All right. One thing I can't question is Jalen Hurts' character. Jalen Hurts was playing abysmal when they went to the national championship game in the 2017-2018 season. Got pulled from the game. Tua Tagovailoa steps in, doesn't get a spot back. Freshman phenom wins the game. Now you take it back the year before when Jalen Hurts was the freshman phenom, guided his team all the way to the national championship game, practically won the game. The defense just couldn't stop Deshaun Watson. Now, that's not Jalen Hurts' fault because he can't play both sides of the ball. That ain't Jalen Hurts' fault. But, as I say, he did not win that game. Now, you fast forward. So after Tua steps in, they win the national championship game. Tua goes down the SEC championship game. Jalen Hurts steps in, wins the game against the team he got pulled from, against the Georgia Bulldogs. Wins that game, gets his, balances the scales with that. The starting job is still Tua's. Transfers to Oklahoma, improves vastly as a quarterback. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, college quarterbacks don't transition well in the NFL. Let me explain something to y'all. Okay, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Who else we got? Aside from the two of them, Deshaun Watson's another guy. Kyler Murray's another guy. Russell Wilson's another guy. I'll say these guys because they have a similar skill set to Jalen Hurts, and I'll even throw Dak Prescott out there because he even gets a lot of flack. I'm not a Cowboys fan by no means. I do not like Dallas. But I'm going to say this about the Cowboys. At least I know, at least from what I've seen, a lot of what I've seen from Dak has stayed consistent with them and tried his best. Now, granted, as we all know, that offense is anchored around Ezekiel Elliott. We know that. That's not that's not news or anything like that. But the reason why I mention all those other these particular quarterbacks is because they have a skill set that mirrors that what Jalen Hurts can produce out there in the field. And a lot of people are sitting here pitching a fit, upset about the fact that he could potentially start over Carson Wentz. Now, if I had to go based off of what I saw these past 2 weeks, it can't get no worse than that. Than a fifth-year quarterback that's been in the same system and still is having struggles as if though this is his first year. Now, everyone attributes Frank Reich to being the reason why the Eagles won that particular Super Bowl. Frank Reich has been gone from the Philadelphia Eagles for going on 4 years now. Now, I'm not sitting there saying that he should have had a Super Bowl to his name immediately, but the last I checked, he was in the division when the Jacksonville Jaguars were still Saxonville. Couldn't get it done there. He was still in the division where, he had Tennessee and Derrick Henry to deal with. So, and in addition to that, having to play Deshaun Watson twice a year too. Back when they still had DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm seeing a lot of people sit here and pitch a fit about this and about that. And I'm like, listen, guys, y'all got to calm down. It's not the end of the world if Jalen Hurts plays the game. I would rather him play. Now, mind you, I would rather give Carson enough time because if Carson, and it works out both ways. Because if Carson screws up, His screw up is Jalen Hurts' opportunity. And if Carson does good, then the Eagles go, then they produce better on offense. But the problem I have is the fact that people are ready to write Jalen Hurts off and have never seen this guy play at all. That's baffling. How do you write off a guy you never saw play? You can't. You can't. I've seen. I have seen Carson Wentz play. Now, what Carson did last year was remarkable because Carson Wentz had done something that I don't think a lot of these other quarterbacks could have done, and that's throw for 4,000 yards with all backup receivers. Hey, a phenomenal feat if there ever was. But Jalen Hurts has an air about him that I would say. And when I say this in particular, I mean he has a leadership that's uncanny. He's a leader on the field. Not merely by having to say a whole bunch of words, it's just his actions. If you've never seen him play at Alabama and you never saw him play at Oklahoma, it would be wise of you to go ahead and look how he played. And look how the team rallied around him. When it seemed like much was lost. Now, granted, his last year at Oklahoma, when they played against LSU, he did all he could, but he can't play both sides of the ball again. If you look at his stats weren't horrible. So, I say that to say this. I feel as if, though, the Philadelphia Eagles have a lot to gel on. I also feel as if, though, another issue surrounding this team on the defensive side of the ball lies in their lack of linebackers. Now, going into this draft, I was saying this needs to be a wide receiver and linebacker heavy draft. And I look back at this draft with a little bit of frustration because I'm not saying Jalen Reagor was a horrible pick. I'm not going to say that at all. But you could have waited. You could have waited on Jalen Reagor. The first pick, to me, should have been Kenneth Murray. And if everybody's pitching a fit about the whole Jalen Hurts situation, then, hey, your next pick, or you should have traded up. You could have took and selected Patrick Queen off the board. You could have had both Kenneth Murray and Patrick Queen on the same team. The problem isn't so much the secondary with the Philadelphia Eagles. The problem lies at the lack of linebackers. There hasn't been a dominant linebacker in Philadelphia since probably DeMeco Ryans. I think DeMeco Ryans is probably the last sort of dominant linebacker the Eagles had. Obviously, everybody ain't going to be Jeremiah Trotter. Well, let's just call a spade a spade. Everybody ain't going to be Jeremiah Trotter. But that linebacking core, the linebackers help and assist when your defensive line, you know what I'm saying, it helps your secondary a lot, a thousandfold, because you don't have to bring up your safeties all the time. So, I'll say this. I have the Eagles winning today, but it won't come as a surprise if the Eagles lose. And I only say that because, you see, the problem I have with this team is the inconsistency. One day, it's the offense screwing up. The next week, it's the defense screwing up. Now, this could be the week where they all get it together or they fall apart. I'm going to be doing more of this, so get used to seeing this particular face and this particular hat. Because I feel as if, though, we need to build ourselves a relationship and a connection here. So, I live in Baltimore. Maryland. I'm not a fan of the Ravens. Doesn't mean I hate the Ravens, but I've always been following the Eagles since Donovan McNabb. So, Donovan McNabb and Brian Dawkins. So, I'll say this. The Eagles have it in them to win. They are an extremely talented team. I think that there is especially as far as wide receiver goes, I think they have, one of the best wide receiving cores. And I know everybody's saying, well, you ain't never seen these guys play. I feel like there's a lot of raw talent there. We'll see as the year progresses. I think it may be, maybe time for the Eagles to move on from someone in Alshon Jeffrey. Hey, and depending on how it works out this season, if Deshaun Jackson doesn't produce this year, it may in fact be time to move on from Deshaun Jackson as well. I like what I see out of Miles Sanders, but I feel as if though Miles Sanders is gonna need some assistance back there too. Um, as far as the tight ends goes, we should definitely kind of like, I'm not gonna say lean on the tight ends, but utilize them in a much more craftier way. You know what I'm saying? Like the scheme on the offense has got to be a lot better. Where it was the first week when the Eagles lost, Doug Peterson was calling the plays for the first half of the game. Now, I don't know if that was up until that interception, that boneheaded interception that Carson Wentz threw, but God Almighty, if that didn't help. They were playing a good game. We'll see how it turns out this today. I got it being a final score. I'm gonna say, because the way Joe Burrow played the week before, I'm gonna go ahead and say 31-28 Philadelphia. If not 31-28, I'll even go as far as to say it'd be 31-35 Philadelphia. But like I said, not really particularly sure how the Eagles will score. I'm almost certain that bombs away to AJ Green, Auden Tate, and Tyler Boyd. Those who you need to be more concerned about, especially that Auden Tate. So we'll see how it turns out. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think is going on. I'll holler at y'all next time.